Welcome back to another episode on the Expand Your Awareness 2.0 podcast. Could you do my intro for me?
I literally tried and you
Try it again.
You censored me. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. Go.
Welcome back to the Expand Your Awareness 2.0 podcast with Aaron Doughty.
You have like some of that raspy, like,
Pull up your kombucha. Pull up your meditation cushion. And let's get cosmic, baby.
It's pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
I might actually consider using that. Okay, so first off, I just want to say, like last night, we're in Sedona, and we were at this like Creek place, and then she just looks over at me and she goes, "I want pizza." I want pizza. It was very like an angry toddler. And I was like, well, how about like I don't know, like some type of pasta or something. She goes, "Pizza," like that.
I'm literally a big baby.
Yeah, she's not kidding. So if you guys don't know, this is Leeor Alexandra, the big baby.
The big baby. If you watch Adventure Time, there's like this big cosmic baby. He's oversized and he rules the universe. And within
Wasn't that also in that thing that you were telling me, that Duncan Trussell guy or whatever?
Duncan Trussell.
Duncan Trussell. He has that thing on Netflix, and it was like
The Midnight Gospel.
Yeah, and there was a big alien or something in the first episode.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, if anybody listening hasn't seen The Midnight Gospel, first of all, Duncan is my role model. He's who I want to be when I grow up. In 10 years when I grow up. And The Midnight Gospel is everything that we talk about. Mm-hmm. So it's a space cast, okay? It's a podcast just like this, but it's in space. And hearing myself is really cool. I like this. So isn't his podcast though, is him it's his podcast, and then he just takes it and animates it. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I think that maybe he took some podcasts and then animated them. I think some of them were made specifically for the show. I might be wrong, because he would have to have his guests call him by the name of the main character, which I think he does do, because I think in one episode, one of the guests actually said Duncan instead of the main character's name. Yeah, but so the connection that Aaron is pointing at is one of the producers or the creators of Midnight Gospel is the creator of Adventure Time, which is my favorite cartoon.
Yes, that's why I knew you would like it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Anyways, so
watch it.
Okay, you guys maybe know Leeor Alexandra. She is a YouTuber. She's like a law of attraction, amazing, extraordinary manifestation coach. She is also a content creator. She used to work for E! News back in the day. Is that right?
Yeah.
She used to work for E! News back in the day, talking about Kim Kardashian's butt, but now she has evolved to a completely new level of consciousness, where Kim Kardashian's butt does not have relevancy in 5D.
It's still relevant. I still like it quite a lot. But
yeah, she does have very nice.
Just don't write about it.
Yeah, you don't have to write about it for a living, though.
Yeah.
What else?
It's interesting. You've never used that intro from me before.
I know, I'm switching things up.
Okay.
She's also my ex-girlfriend. More importantly than all those, she is my ex-girlfriend. We were in a relationship for about a year. And we moved out of that relationship about 6 months ago. Shashuka! It's the kind of relationship we have, guys. We're very open.
So Aaron, what he's doing right now is he's trying to find a way to
transition into content,
to come up with a topic for us, because
I just want this to be conversational. We could just keep doing small talk for like an hour and a half.
I love that. So how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. So I've been in Sedona now for about 3 weeks, which has been
this beautiful new house. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep, in a beautiful new house. And right now we're in the podcast room, which you are the first. Do you feel special? You're the first ever podcast guest in the new podcast room, and there will be a lot of people. There'll be a lot of different people coming through here, and you're the first.
I just teared up a little bit. I'm not even kidding. Can you see?
No.
I'm so excited.
I sense a lot of sarcasm.
No. What? I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm tearing up.
Okay, actually that might be true. She gets very emotional very often.
I'm the first guest in the new podcast room.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so cool.
So coming to Sedona for me has been do you notice a big difference in the way that I am from the way that, like when we were dating, from the way I used to be? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just choked a little bit on some green juice. I totally notice a difference in your energy. Okay, well, the way that you are these days in general compared to how you were when we were in a partnership is very different. And I think it's good because I feel like you're having so much more fun.
Yeah.
Like you're so much more lighthearted. You're not as strict and as I remember you would really like, I mean, it was part of your identity and part of your persona, the way that you needed to be about everything, about food, about working out, about work. And it was very strict and very regimented and rigid. And I just remember seeing something in your eyes that was like, well, I want to go and do all this fun stuff.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, there was something there. And now that thing has taken over and you have become this fun little bubbly character who likes to hang out at the creek and jump on rocks. And
Yeah, I do enjoy doing that. Yeah, before coming to Sedona, I was just not even just Sedona in general, but these last couple months for me, like making daily YouTube videos for 3 years, I've just been putting out so much output. And I've really been challenging my own beliefs on what it takes to be successful, because for a long time I believed that I had to kind of have that perspective in order for me, like a lot of action, a lot of doing. And once I started to really let that go and to focus more on like yin style energy things, like going to the creek and being and realizing that if I believe I have to make videos every single day to be successful, it's so regimented and so much.
And it's a belief system that you perpetuated.
Exactly. Yeah. And I knew eventually that if I took a step back and I focused more on receiving,
I'm just
Thank you.
supporting you.
Thank you. And then coming here has really kind of not forced me into that, but I think the energy here really enhances that. So it enhances like more beingness. I go to the creek. I haven't made a video in like 3 days until today, which is huge for me. I used to make a video every single day and I would freak out if I didn't make a video. I'd make like 2 videos the next day. So being here really has helped me take a step back and realize also that less is more. When you take more aligned action, or you're just more aligned within yourself, or you fill up your own cup, it's like almost like you get better results as well. You don't have to take as much action as you think, you know? So there's different levels. Because I think in the beginning I had to take a lot of action to get to where I became, like where I am. But then to get to the next level, it's almost like I got to get rid of that to then.
I made a video recently talking about it and just being really vulnerable and genuine about how I feel about work and society and, you know, like consuming, but also putting things out there.
Yep.
And in the video, I admitted that you have to get to a certain place.
Yeah.
In order to stop having to be the way that society wants you to be.
Right.
Sometimes I question that. I don't know if I agree with that, but I feel like you have to get to a certain place of comfort, of financial stability, of like emotional stability in order to not be so much in the masculine energy, because society before, you know, it's changing now. That's what we've been talking about a lot lately.
Yeah.
It's been so masculine, and in order to keep up and in order to survive, just survive, because we're not talking about thriving yet.
Right.
In order just to survive in this society, you got to tap into that masculine energy and that hustle, ambition, go culture. And if you don't, you feel like you're left behind. You feel like you're not doing enough. So what I found in like with what I had to do is in the beginning of my career, after quitting entertainment news and doing what I want to do and talking about what I want to talk about, I had to be more masculine. I had to be in my masculine energy. I had to create, you know, my empire, my businesses. And that wasn't a conscious thing, but it definitely shifted me into a more masculine role.
Yeah.
You know? And then I was able to get to a certain part, and then finally am able to now decide what do I want to be in, what kind of energy do I want to be in. So that's what I'm thinking is, do you have to get to a certain place of comfort before you can be the decider and the chooser of your energy and what, you know, how you create output? Or can you start from the beginning? I think you have a story about this with the Spanx founder. Can you start from the beginning in feminine energy and still thrive and still create abundance? I think so. That's my question.
Yeah, I think especially now more than ever, like kind of what you're referring to. And by the way, in your older, I tell her this all the time, but in her older YouTube videos from like a year or two ago, you have such a different energy than you did even now. Like your energy has changed so
Probably
much.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
It was because when we were first talking about this, was like a year ago when we started dating. I was like, wow, a year ago, you had such, even your facial structure was different.
Yeah.
The energy you had, the way you carried yourself was completely different. And you can look at your older videos to see how much different your energy is now within yourself. So I can see how that energy has softened up so much over the last like year, you know? So it's like it's not just like like an energetic thing. It is energetic, but it's also a physical thing too, that you can see. You can actually see it in videos. Yeah. So, in general, I like when we talk about masculine and feminine energy and kind of the time we're on the planet right now, we're transitioning from a masculine time to a feminine, like a masculine energy to a more feminine energy. And
the age of Aquarius is feminine.
Yes, exactly. And whereas back in the day, like when I was the example we're talking about when we were on your coaching thing the other day, we were talking about I was talking about Sarah Blakely.
Yeah.
Sarah Blakely is a billionaire founder of Spanx, which is, you know, like a woman's product or like leggings, right?
Yeah.
And she's real successful. I think she is a pretty big believer in the law of attraction and stuff as well, which I think is pretty cool. But she was in an interview with Tony Robbins. She was talking about how back in the day, she was at a business meeting with like 2 or 3 other guys that were like high level in what she was doing, and she was trying to figure out how to scale her business. And they told her like, business is brutal. Business is war. And she started crying when she heard this. She started crying and she was like sad, and she was like, why does it have to be this way? And in that moment, she made a choice that for her, business was not going to be war, that it wasn't going to be like that she wasn't going to define it that way. And she noticed that all the other billionaire women that she had met, or very, very successful women that she met, had all very leading masculine energy. And that's because back in the day, I think we were, not even back in the day, but like 5 years ago, we were even more in the masculine energy than we are now, because we're every year I think it's becoming more and more of a feminine type energy leading like way. And I think what happened is that was the belief system. That was how a lot of people became successful, and especially in a male dominated workforce where that was like the perception. But now people can start with that feminine flow in mind and that alignment more so than ever. And I think that if people don't, I think it's going to be a very bumpy ride. Like me, it's hard for me to let go of making the daily videos on YouTube that I've been making. It's hard for me to like let go of this stuff, and it's easier said than done. But what I'm realizing about myself is, if the more resistant I am, the more I end up, the more I create like problems along the way. But the more I just be, and the more that I just absorb it, like if I don't get on board now, I'm going to get more and more signs to myself to go in that direction. There was actually things that manifested. Remember the thing with that book that I used to recommend?
Yes.
So I used to recommend this book. I made over 100 YouTube videos on this specific book that I was very passionate about. And I made these 100 videos back in like 2017, 18, when I first started my YouTube channel. And I drove thousands and thousands and thousands of people towards this book. And when I, because I was passionate about it, and I brought a whole bunch of awareness to it. A lot of people didn't know what the book was. And then what happened is just this last like couple months, I've had a lady go in there that claims to own the trademark to this book and have over 100 videos of mine deleted. And in that moment, it was like, well, first off, I felt like it was wrong because it was like freedom of free speech. I wasn't claiming that I owned the book. I was sending people to a book. But the main reason for that too, I think, was because that lady, I was ranking, because I was making those videos before I was big on YouTube. So those videos got like, a lot of views, and I was ranking over a lot of the actual coaches for that book. So I think that they felt like they had to compete with me, and they didn't want to compete with me. So they said, okay, let's just take out all of his videos. And now they're at the top of the search rank.
It's unfortunate because they're also coming at it from a masculine perspective, like competition, rather than looking at it as, this guy gave us so much publicity.
Oh, I know. They could have teamed up with me, and like I would have like been happy to even send them more traffic, and like I don't know. very interesting.
Yeah,
but
because it's pretty esoteric, and it's not even close to mainstream. And I'm sure that you brought them so many people.
Oh, I know I did.
Knew nothing
There's people
about
that
it.
have that have channels on that topic, and some of them claim that they found it through they reach out to me.
Crazy.
They're like, hey, this is happening right now, because everyone knows about it in the community of this book. It's like the lady that's like running it is like tearing apart the organization, and it's very interesting. But anyways, the point of me sharing that was like, it was like right in the transition of me deciding like I need to go from like outputting so much on YouTube to doing less. And that was like another bump in the road that said, hey, you got to let go of this outcome. Stop trying to control.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I can make this like the best thing that ever happened to me, because everything in life is fundamentally neutral other than the meaning we give it, what I believe. So I was like, okay, what positive meaning can I give this? And I was like, well, this is just going to be, it's going to help me let go more, and it's going to like transform my life in many ways. And also it made me realize I'm at a place now, not in a cocky way, but like I can share my own teachings. I don't have to promote a book.
Right.
Even though I promoted the book 3 years ago, then 3 years later, someone trademarked the word and then decided, okay, I'm going to go through and, you know, have 100 videos deleted.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, that's what I mean though, is sometimes these bumps come up if you don't let go right away, or you don't get the message. But the more feminine energy that we're moving into, that's really helped me let go and like be more in that yin energy as well, you know?
Yeah. I agree completely. And, you know, we talk about this a lot, that I went through a time when I was trying to be more like you and create more like you know, and like,
let's talk about that for a minute. So that was mainly in Tulum when we were traveling?
No, it was most of the relationship, I think.
Yeah. So that's a challenge of you and I doing the same thing in a relationship. It's like
comparison.
And what we're learning now is like, just as friends, to not compare ourselves and to realize
I don't feel any.
Yeah, neither do I.
The second that we became just friends, I'm like, oh, I can appreciate you for the way that you are, and I don't have to compare myself to you. But I remember, you know, talking about that resistance and that struggle, that I was, you know, I decided to do videos every other day, and I burnt myself out in like less than 2 months. And that was so much for me. And I was just like, Aaron can do it. Like, why can't I do this? Why am I not disciplined enough? And you know what happened to me is that resistance showed up in my body, like gaining weight and breaking out. And this was also all happening during the awakening process too. Yeah. So I wasn't sleeping because I was experiencing like the craziest night things. And I was a mess because I was constantly trying to compare myself and to be something that's not natural to me, you know? And then the second that I was able to be more myself, I created new belief systems. And I think that I can take these belief systems, and when I talk to people about how I started, I think I can take that belief and help people to skip over the part where they feel like they have to create nonstop and they have to work 16-hour days like I did in the beginning, you know? Maybe you don't have to. Like, that's the question I was asking myself earlier in this podcast. If you have to be in that masculine, ambitious energy, especially now that the energy is changing in the world and we're moving towards a more feminine society and systems, being feminine from, you know, whatever your gender or sex is, it's going to amplify your message and make your work even better. So now I have these new belief systems, which is like, I don't need to work that hard, but I need to make good content. I make great content when I just, you know, work when I feel creative. And that's that feminine energy that's like up and down and cyclical. And sometimes you feel like it, and sometimes you don't. And sometimes you're crying, and sometimes and sometimes
you're curled up in a ball in the middle of your room. And
sometimes you want to burn down the world, and sometimes you want to build new communities. Sometimes you want pizza.
I want pizza.
And sometimes you want to be really strict and regimented, and it's okay. It's okay to be all of that. And when you're accepting of the way that you are, and I think that some people need to accept that they are super ambitious and super like, you know, they want to work all the time, and they want to create massive amounts of input, and that's okay too. Yeah. It's just, I don't know anybody personally who isn't hurt by that mentality, by this society that puts us into fight or flight mode constantly because we're feeling like we need to survive, like we're not safe. We feel like we're not safe all the time. And when you feel like you're not safe all the time, your ego wants to do whatever it can to feel safe. And then what it does is it chases money, because money is the illusion of security, right?
Yeah.
So it chases.
You think money, you know what I heard from the cosmic disclosure stuff that we're watching is that just to kind of give this an esoteric trail.
I'd love to go esoteric.
We'll see where this goes.
I have a knock on my head. An idea has been knocking since the beginning, and I'm like, say it.
Okay, because just say it.
Astral sex.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm like telling my mind, no, shut up, no.
That is social conditioning telling you no. What about astral sex?
Go on.
Okay, so we're looping back to that though.
Okay.
So they say that back in the day, okay, this is from like Cosmic Disclosure. I forget who was talking about this, but one of the ways that certain ET races, so we're going pretty esoteric here, okay? Like I'm skipping over a lot of stuff and just going, hey, there's ET races that exist. I mean, people watch my content, then they're pretty open to it. Yeah. Yes. So they say that there's some negative extraterrestrial races that infiltrate different reality systems, which could be like our solar system or like different planets. And one of the first things they do to put in their control is they set up a financial system. And by setting up a financial system, they can then control the resources. Because then what they do is they have different ways of like rigging the system. Now, I'm not saying that all rich people, have rigged the system or anything like that. But what I am saying is that, when we look at like a global elite or something like that, or people that are bringing forth a certain agenda of maybe some like, ET races or something like that, they may get benefit for doing that, and maybe that has something to do with the resources, right? So one of the first things that they do when they're infiltrating a different reality system is they create a global currency within it so that they can then control the resources. Yeah. So then what happens is we, socially conditioned wise, are growing up in a society that is ran by money, which we just assume that this is the way it is. There has to be people on the world that don't have enough to eat. Like most of the world population lives on like $1 or $2 a day. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yet we're all in our own little bubbles of like what survival is, and it's all survival is based on like what we believe about our.
It's all an illusion.
It's all an illusion, and even money itself is like an illusion. Like I enjoy financial abundance because I enjoy resources and I enjoy traveling. I enjoy nice houses and like I like nice things. One of the biggest things I think people would be surprised to know about me is that even though I'm spiritual, I do like nice things. I love really good food. I like nice things. I believe that for a long time when I went through my spiritual awakening, I like resisted the material world.
Isn't it your Taurus moon?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's my Taurus ascendant.
Rising.
Yeah.
Oh, I still feel like you should be a Taurus moon.
Well, then maybe you need to do the Vedic astrology reading. We talked about it because I am a Taurus moon in Vedic astrology.
Oh, interesting.
So Leeor and I have this thing where
I haven't researched Vedic astrology
enough. You got to get like a Vedic reading or something.
I just don't feel like his Vedic signs. I guess if your moon is Taurus there, then I see that. Yeah, but I don't see you as a Scorpio sun.
Yeah, Scorpio sun and then a Aries ascendant.
I can see the Aries ascendant. I can't see the Scorpio sun. I can't see it. You're such a Sagittarius.
Yeah, and so even if you look at my traditional though, I was born on November 24th. I'm on the cusp of either one.
Yeah.
And if you do a Vedic, then I'm a strong Scorpio.
I just don't see it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe the meanings in traditional versus
mean different.
Mean different because when I was getting my Vedic astrology reading, it was very much about like mythology and stories and
that's Western too. All astrology is very much about mythology.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You should get a Vedic reading. I was so resistant to Vedic reading. The Vedic like
what
Scorpio. So Scorpio. Like I used to really resist because I was like, oh, I don't view myself as like, I just didn't view myself as a Scorpio. I used to always tell people, oh, I'm a Sagittarius. I almost was like self-conscious of being on the cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius. Yeah. And then when I got Vedic, I was like, well, I knew in Vedic that I was a Scorpio. And I was like, I just like, there's something about that just, I don't know if it didn't resonate or whatnot, but then I got the reading and it was super accurate. It was, Scorpio had to do with like transformation, intensity. Like, am I an intense person?
Yeah.
Okay, like...
But also, like, preoccupied with death and very mysterious and very... I mean, you are mystical.
I think most people would say I'm pretty mysterious and, like...
No, I guess. Maybe if they don't know you. It's a sun. Is sun... Is that when they know? No, that's who you are, though. Who you're being. What is that?
That's a pretty cool doorbell.
Is that a doorbell?
Yeah.
We both got quiet and we heard it together. Yeah, no,
it's like we could hear it through the mic.
No, I feel like you're very straightforward and very like you tell people exactly how you're feeling all the time. Like you're very vocal.
Very vocal.
I'm sure there's different
aspects. There's different aspects to it. But just in general, yeah, I forget how we even got talking about Vedic. But yeah, you should get a Vedic reading. I still think you should. I think you'd be...
Didn't somebody here like
Yes, we have someone's info. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'd love it. Maybe we'll do we'll talk about that once you get your results. And we'll have a follow-up episode where you just kind of talk about it for a little bit.
Okay.
But how do we start talking about that? We were talking about before that got into Vedic.
Money being an illusion, but I don't know how we got from...
Anyways... So then what happens? Oh, because I said I like nice things. And you said, oh, that's part of Taurus, right? And then we just got on that tangent. So just in general, like then we go about chasing money. And the funny thing about chasing money, though, is that money is a resource, right?
Right.
So it's like people are chasing side effects. Money is a side effect of doing what you love and being aligned.
Right.
But people then chase it. You know, they want to be a millionaire. They want to be this. They want to be that. It's like that is a side effect. You know, I became more abundant than ever the more aligned I became with myself. Mm-hmm. The more I aligned to my mission, my purpose, the more I acted as that as well. And I just was it. Like started making daily videos. I started researching topics I was really passionate about, even though in sharing ideas that were just very esoteric. The more I did that, the more I became that, or that's when then everything aligned. But then people look to the hard work and they say, oh, it was the hard work that did it. Well, you know, you have to, I think action is the physical translation in our reality as a very important part. But I think that as time goes on, it's more about the intensity of the energy behind the action. Because then you could do less, you could do more with less in a way. But anyways.
Yeah, I think that money, how you were saying money as a resource, as a side effect, it really is a side effect of giving value, right?
Yes, I agree.
It's a byproduct of giving value. And that's more than the hard work. It's like how much value can you give and what way are you giving it?
Right.
And then that comes. So money, other than being an illusion, is a side effect of giving value in whatever way. And giving good value. So, you know, are you giving value with what you're doing, with your day job? Are you really giving value? And are you giving value to yourself too?
Yeah.
Right? And then that money will always come. Resources will always come as a side effect of giving value. That's what
I agree. Yeah. Because we live in a reality where what you put out is what you get back.
Yeah.
So if you people are always focused on the getting.
Yeah.
Like, how can I get $1 million? How can I get? Well, that's focusing on it backwards. If you instead focus on what you can give, and normally in what people trip up about as well is like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like give money or give like things? No, give energy.
Energy, yeah.
And energy that it's aligned to your passion. So like
attention.
You making your videos, you making your, doing what you love, you are adding value to others.
Yeah.
And you just being
whatever
yourself.
way that is. It doesn't have to be by creating it.
No.
You know, by putting, you could be a massage therapist. That's giving value.
For sure.
Right?
It's an energetic thing too.
Yeah.
Like people, like sometimes when I'm telling people how to like grow on YouTube, I'm like, we got to give value. Like I'm like a pranker or an entertainer. It's like, well, do you make people laugh? Yeah.
That's value.
Then share your energy, make people laugh, and that's adding value. It depends on the focus. But
if their intention is behind making those prank videos is I want to get money and I want to be famous, that's what you're putting out. You're putting out what you want rather than actual value, right?
Yeah. That's what a lot of times happens. Nice.
Grandmother Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Venus for a minute?
Sure.
She wants to be appreciated.
Okay, you're making fun of me again. So I've been working with Venus.
Okay, what does it mean to work with Venus?
So when you work with celestial bodies, you're also working with their archetypes and the mythos that create their spheres of consciousness. So Venus is a planet, right? But it's also a sphere of consciousness. And she's a goddess. And, that's Aphrodite. I always get them mixed up. I think it's Venus in Roman and then Greek Aphrodite.
So she's very sexual?
She's sensual.
Not sexual.
No, sexual too. She's the goddess of love, of abundance, of self-love, of confidence, and also the goddess of prostitutes. So, you know,
So very sexual.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Venus, yeah, yes, yeah. It's just
So how do you work with the celestial bodies?
so you work with what they represent and what the goddess represents. So if Venus presents herself to you, and she's been presenting herself to me since January, and the way that has been happening is she shows up in my consciousness without me looking for it, right? So I didn't think about, I wasn't even into astrology. I didn't even start learning astrology till March of this year.
Yeah,
so
when you went to
Guatemala for a retreat.
For an astrology retreat. Yeah,
which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Guatemala is amazing. And since January, she's been showing up. So the way that she started is I started seeing this star, this super bright star or planet, right? In the sky. And I pulled out my app and I found out that it's Venus. And Venus is not always in the night. Sometimes she's a morning star. Sometimes she's a night star. So she was a night star. And I kept seeing her, and I kept noticing her. So she comes into your consciousness, right? And then I went to the observatory in January in Los Angeles, to the Griffith Observatory. And I saw her there in the sky. And then I went inside, and there's a beautiful mural on the wall inside of the observatory, the telescope area place. There's a mural on the wall. And my eye immediately went to this like beautiful painting of this woman. And I was like, I've never seen it before, but I feel like that's Venus. Okay. So I went to the plaque to read what it is. Of course, it was Venus. So she's again drawing my attention to her existence. That's how it happens, right?
Wow.
And then through various different ways, she kept showing up. Her name, her image, her likeness, and what she represents kept showing up in my life. And I realized, oh, I'm working with a goddess right now. I'm working with this consciousness, with this archetype, right? So the archetype is within me, but it's also a conscious thing. It's a real entity. Of course, all these gods and all these archetypes and all these different beings all go back to the same source, and we're all the same. Like I am the same as Venus, right? You are the same as Venus. But you can tap into that energy of the archetype of this goddess and work with it.
Wow. And
she's there. She wants to work with you. She wants to help you. She wants to bring love into your life. She wants to take out things from your life that are no longer serving you. She also wants to, so she was retrograde. She had her pre-shadow April 9th until May 11th or 12th. She went retrograde May 12th until June 25th. And now we're still in the post-shadow. We're in the post-shadow until the end of this month. Okay, so when she's retrograde, I might be wrong, but I think that the last time that we had a cycle like this was in 2018. I talked about this in one of my workshops, October 2018, which was interesting because that's when you and I first started to feel each other out, right? October 2018.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a cycle kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And different things come up in all these different astrological cycles. And what was happening this time from I would say about April 3rd when she started to move in all the way to the end of July and she's in Gemini. So it's a specific like communication energy, duality. She holds up a mirror to you. Yeah. So Venus, the goddess, she holds up this mirror to you and she goes, look at yourself. And let me bring this thing to you from the past. Have you changed? Have they changed? Has this thing changed? Are you going to go back to something that from the past? Or are you going to continue to be this new person that you are?
Right.
Do you like who you are? Do you like your relationship with love? Do you like your relationship with others? Do you like your relationship with finances and resources and abundance?
Wow.
Or is there something you want to change?
Yeah.
She takes things out of your life. A lot of people were dumped. A lot of people walked away from relationships.
At what time?
It started around April 3rd and
I noticed a lot of people were moving out of relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. And some people from the past showing up around April 9th, 10th when the pre-shadow began is very common. I've seen that everywhere.
Yeah.
And just looking at that as like, this doesn't mean that this person is supposed to be in your life or supposed to not be in your life. It means reflect.
Mm-hmm.
What does this say about you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What have you learned? Who have you become?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to change your relationship with everything?
Yeah.
And that's an opportunity that she gives us. And she's still with us till, I don't know when you're going to put this out, but she's still with us. The energy is still with us till the end of the month. And you can work with these archetypes and these
That's cool.
goddesses and gods at any time, right? You just
Yeah,
have to.
I think it's cool. A lot of what you're telling me right now reminds me as well of anytime I hear Patty, Victor Oto's wife, talk about how she diets plants. So she's like has an intimate connection with mapacho, which is the tobacco spirit on the planet, which is actually one of the oldest traditional.
It's a grandfather spirit.
The grandfather spirit that also was how many of the other plants were found out by the shamans. Mapacho would tell them like, go mix chacuna with this to make ayahuasca, and that's how like the communication from the plant kingdoms. What do you say?
It's really interesting that you say that because there's actually a really strong connection between plants and planets.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
Yes.
Because everything you were saying there, it reminds me, because Patty all the time is talking about mapacho and sage and rose. Like rose reminds me of Venus.
Yeah.
Because Rose teaches
Rose
you
is
unconditional love.
Yeah.
And you know, when she dieted Rose, which means that she stopped eating like pretty much all stimulating foods and spices. She'd eat very bland foods, but then she would do like a rose tea and put on rose essential oil and do a meditation with Rose every day. And she would learn, and she learned about unconditional love and how to like love herself.
Yep.
And she was
That's
very
Venus.
compassionate with her kids and her husband. I found that interesting. And when she talks about them, you know, she talks about them as consciousnesses, like not like, oh, like it's an actual
Like the plant,
being,
right.
just like you are with planets.
It's the same thing.
And when I
Right.
hear it, I think it's super cool. But the thing that I also think is like kind of like what you said, they are us, like they are another aspect of our consciousness. So I find that really cool because it's like, oh, well, Mapacho is within me. Like I love Hape. I love Mapacho. When I was a kid, like even 18 years old, I was smoking a lot of hookah and stuff. And I think that I just always felt really close to Mapacho or tobacco in some ways. And like now, even now, like I use Hape every now and then and stuff like that. But I feel that connection, but that connection is within me and it can teach me something.
Always,
you know,
they can all teach us something.
Yeah.
And each one is rules a
Wow,
different thing.
that plants and planets, they're such a similar
actually a
names
book.
too, right?
Yes, there's a book, Plants and Planets. I haven't read it yet, but it's by, I think his name is Sasha something or Sai. I don't know.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
No.
He like pranks.
Definitely
He's like,
not.
he's like Borat, like pranking other people.
But yeah, there's a connection between the plants and the planets, and it's all spheres of consciousness, and they're
Yeah.
all a part of us. And you can tap into it. And working with plants is very similar to working to the archetypes and the personalities of different planets.
That's cool. I think that as well when we talk about planets, like we were talking about like the control system on the planet of the money or whatever. I think that certain things we kind of set up is so that we have the collective consciousness, and we've embedded inside the collective consciousness different archetypes that we're all connected to because we're all connected to the same collective mind. So it's like we use these archetypes to connect to these energies within us. So like Venus,
Exactly.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Neptune's been knocking on my door.
Really?
Yeah.
What does Neptune represent?
I think that I haven't looked too much into him. I haven't given him the respect he deserves yet. But it's something about the mind and
I could see that.
like imagination and also illusion. I think my chart is heavy with Neptune energy.
What is my chart heavy with?
I don't remember. I have to look at it.
Yeah. Just curious. I didn't know if...
And so I actually found out that Neptune was retrograde also after I started noticing all the signs.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're meant to work with a certain plant, just like how Patty, the way that we experience, how I experience an archetype or a sphere of consciousness coming to, one of the celestial bodies coming to work with me is the same as how Patty feels that she starts to work with plants.
It's exactly the same way.
It's exactly the same way. They start to show up for her.
Yep.
Rose started to show up for her everywhere. Is it Aho, the garlic one?
I forget. I know that right now she's feeling the connection to Bob and Sana.
Yeah, so it keeps coming up.
Yep.
Like she keeps seeing it everywhere, or you just feel it. And it's like the second you get still in your life and the second you have presence and you start looking, and you take your head out of your phone, you see that all these things are
Yeah, I
knocking at the
agree.
door, and something mystical and esoteric wants to work with you.
Yeah.
It wants to help you evolve, and we have access to these things. One of my favorite books is Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukov.
Mhm.
You know, I tell you about that. I talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. And he talks about how we have a choice between being 5D, like 5-dimensional,
Mhm.
right? Multi-sensory and multi-dimensional, or 5-sensory, like using the 5 senses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or a multi-sensory, multi-dimensional being. That's what he says. So we have a choice in life.
Wow.
So we can learn lessons on a very physical level. So we have challenges, and we have things being taken out of our lives, and we lose loved ones, and we lose money, and we go through challenges in order to expand and to grow and to feel, to become who we're meant to be and become who we are.
Right.
Or we decide to be these spiritual beings, to remember who we are, and we become multidimensional. And when you become multidimensional, you have access to these spheres of consciousness, like the celestial bodies, and to these plants, and to your spirit guides, and to all these different things that allow you to grow in another way. So of course you'll still have challenges, because we live in a world of duality.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't necessarily need to be traumatic and horrible and really hard to get through, because you're multidimensional and you can learn in other ways.
Right.
So it's like a school earth, and we do come here to learn about ourselves, right? We can do whatever we want, but we come here and it feels good to expand, and it feels good to learn. And there's different ways to go about doing that, because that's what our higher selves want. They want to learn more about ourselves and more about each other and consciousness and source. And you can do that through struggle, or you can do that through being a multidimensional being.
Yeah.
Who's able to navigate with the help of ancestors and the planet, and you know. So
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think well said.
Thank you.
I think more than ever I've also been connected to like the tribal aspect of myself. Like past lives, like this room design is like Navajo, Indian. I feel a very strong connection to like Native American ancestry and stuff, you know, like I think that tribal sense of like the old souls, indigenous, it's like they were connected to consciousness without all the technology that we have now, or maybe they just have different technology. But I just think it's a time when we're remembering a lot. So it's kind of cool to see how that's being brought through in many different ways, including the mythology of Venus and plants and planets and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think 100% it's kind of making a reemergence, but I think it's so interesting that we think that we're so advanced because of technology right now. And some of these cultures have lasted way longer than like huge Western powers. They've lasted thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and they have the same technology and the same tools as they did in the past.
Right.
But like they're good, you know, and they're not experiencing
simplicity.
Yeah. And it's like, why do we think that technological innovation makes us more civilized or more progress for the sake of progress?
I think it's the masculine progressive mindset that we have right now.
That we were talking about earlier. That's true. That's true.
Okay, so we gotta circle back.
Oh, to what?
Astral sex.
Oh God. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, the idea kind of went away, but she's ready to come back.
Who's she?
The idea of astral sex. She's like, this is what you want to talk about right now.
Okay, so do you have like...
Have you ever experienced it?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I have too. And it's a interesting phenomenon, because you wake up in the morning and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then you get on Reddit and you're like, is it okay to have astral sex?
Yeah. What does this mean?
What does it mean? And then you see all this scary stuff.
So is this different than dreams? Because of course I think everyone's had sex in dreams before.
Yeah, it is a little different. It feels a little bit different. It feels more physical, and it's almost like the astral realm is just like a couple dimensions on top of ours. It's like it's on top, right? It's like
this is funny.
Chill out.
Yes,
it's like a layer on top
over.
of this realm.
Yes.
Yeah. And you enter it through sleep states through the hypnagogic.
Can you imagine if somebody made like hypnosis to get people, instead of just astral projection, but like to have astral sex with someone?
This is the issue, because you're inviting an astral being into your space, and you have to be really discerning about that.
I wonder if it's like more intrusive than physical life.
What do you mean intrusive?
Not intrusive, but like if it affects the energy more.
It affects your energy more, yes.
It does. Okay. So you gotta be very mindful. So have safe.
It feels physical. You have to be super mindful, because there are succubi, and the masculine version of that, which is like these entities, these lower vibrational beings who use your sexual energy to feed themselves. So there are scary parts of this, and you have to be really discerning about that. But
I think that's why there's a lot of people that when they're drunk, a lot of people get like really wasted or drunk on alcohol. I feel like it allows different energies and entities in, and and there be energy, and then that's why some people have like maybe much lower vibrational thoughts. Or
so if you're drinking a lot, or if you're doing anything, you're living in a way right now where your vibration's not, your frequency's not where you want it to be, I don't recommend trying astral sex, because you can let those entities in.
Yeah. And then have astral babies you don't know about, and have to pay astral babies child support. You have no idea. What if in the higher realms right now, we just have like, we all have like so many kids, hybrid babies, stuff like that. We have no idea here while we're awake, right? Kind of crazy to think about.
And then, so I went on Reddit.
What would you find on Reddit?
People are doing this a lot, and people are like having relationships in the astral realms.
That's so interesting.
And it's like they're like soulmates are there.
Wow. So I wonder if they feel like they may not need a relationship in physical life, because it's like, and they just go to sleep. Because I mean, we sleep almost not half, but like a third. That's kind of crazy. And it's interesting because we have like our buddy Drew, who's in this house as well. I don't know where he is right now, but he has a teacher, and his teacher, the way that his teacher works with him is he does this certain type of work where he gets into a certain state, and his theta, yeah. But
altered state of consciousness.
But what his teacher does is his teacher teaches him in dream state things.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting, because it's like his teacher rarely works with him in physical life.
Yeah.
So, but they met, they know each other, they have this connection, and now when he goes to bed every night, he learns through the Don who. Well,
haven't you had experiences in your sleep state where you're literally learning things and doing things that you have to bring back to
sometimes I had a weird dream last night. I don't know what it meant. I was like I don't know where I was in like a neighborhood, and I had like a car with like a spare tire that like fell off, and the tire was like spinning around on the street, and I was like trying to grab it.
And you couldn't get
it? But I couldn't grab it. And then what happened is it like it turned, and there was this car that was kind of driving by, and it hit the car in the door. And when it hit the car, it like, I was then all worried because I hit the car. Now I get insurance and all this stuff, and like call insurance. And I just don't know, like weird dreams like that have weird symbols in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dreams are so symbolic, and I think that they're one of the most powerful forms of therapy that's the least used.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love going to bed and having a wild dream, because I know that my subconscious mind is working through things on my behalf.
Yeah.
Every time we put our head on a pillow and we fall asleep, if we're getting good sleep, if we're not going to bed wasted all the time.
Yeah, or numbed out on pills or something.
Or taking pills, we're receiving healing every single night.
Yeah.
And sometimes that leads to
astral sex. One thing just led to another.
One time
what if you had like a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you found out they were having like astral sex?
I think that's cool.
Yeah, like that's okay. like the other.
When we were together, I had an encounter in the astral realm.
Was it with like an ET being, or was it with?
This is the issue. This is what worried me, because he pretended to be you, and then his disguise came off. And then
you told me this.
Yes, I
right?
did tell you about it. And then I was like, I don't trust you because you were pretending to be Aaron. And then he like put me back into a dream. This is something that I experience a lot in the astral realm. When my interaction with an astral being is done, whatever that interaction is, learning from them or whatever it is that I need, getting healing. I get a lot of healing and a lot of upgrades when I'm in the astral realm.
Wow.
Whenever we're done,
Like you
they
finish?
drop me. Okay. That too, though.
Yeah.
They drop me into a dream. So you move over from the astral realm
Is
into
the
dream
sex good though?
It's
Or is it just different?
So from what I've experienced, can I just be like open,
Yeah.
completely open?
Yeah.
Okay. From what I've experienced, there's like it's not penetrating. Right?
It's energetic.
It's energetic, but you do feel it throughout your entire body. So
Interesting.
yeah, and it feels great, but but it's like it's different because it's it's not a normal encounter, and you have to be discerning. You have to be discerning of your energy, and also if you feel like this is happening to you and it's not something that you want, that happens to people, and that's not good. And you gotta close up. My stomach's grumbling. I gotta be fed soon.
Yeah.
And you gotta.
you're like a plant or a.
And you gotta close up that connection. So when that happened with the one I just explained, I closed up the connection, and it hasn't happened since actually.
No astral sex.
No astral sex since then. So it's been over
That
a year.
sucks.
No, it's okay because I got that experience, and it's a cool thing to be able to talk about and to.
That is cool. That is really
It's really cool. So the way that I closed up that portal, and if anybody wants to know if you're experiencing this, I just saged myself. I saged my whole room, and I said, this is done. This connection is done. I'm closing this portal. You don't have access to me. I have sovereignty over my vessel, over my astral body, over all my bodies. I take back my power, and I don't want to have this relationship anymore. It's done. And it never happened again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's powerful to know, is that there is there is free will.
100%.
You can. It's just a lot of people get in fear mode, and then things happen. It's
Do you hear my stomach?
Maybe what have you? So the only thing that you've had so far today is
green juice.
Green juice.
La 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 la.
So and I also at the beginning of this episode, let me show you this.
What?
Look at the carpet.
Did you spill?
Yeah.
I
So I totally
you.
spilled my green juice. So for those of you that don't know, big fan, and one thing I use every morning, it's called Organifi green juice.
I also use it every morning.
And Leeor Alexandra uses it every morning as well.
I've been using it for 2 months now.
Yeah. It's funny, when you were coming to here, so our buddy, Drew, owns the company, founded the company. We huge fans of Organifi. Of the product. It's amazing. It's organic, super healthy. The greens have a whole bunch of what do you call it, phytonutrients and mini servings of vegetables all in the powder. Leeor texts me when she knows that she's coming here. She's met Drew as well, and she goes, "Is there going to be green juice there?"
I was like, "Do I need to bring my green juice?"
And then I was like, "Are you seriously asking me that question right now?"
And I was hurt. Okay, that's a mean
Yeah,
thing
because
to say.
I was like, "Are you serious?" And then I was like, I showed her a picture. We had a pallet in the garage of probably just cartons and cartons and cartons of green juice. And she was like,
and then he's like, we have unlimited supply.
I was like, we have an unlimited supply of green juice.
It's the Organifi house. We have unlimited
Drew
supply
owns the
here.
freaking company. And then she goes, dickhead.
No, I was like, I don't have unlimited supply of alchemy in my house, dickhead.
I just thought it was funny. So for those of you that don't know, this podcast is sponsored by Organifi, mainly because Organifi is something that I use every single day. I use the green juice and I use the protein. It's the best vegan protein that I found. It digests super well inside of the stomach, and it's a complete protein. I think there's 20 or 30 grams of protein per scoop or something like that. And it is also the best tasting vegan protein I've personally found. I made that ice cream thing. I make it using it. I showed it on my Instagram story the other day. But for those, if you want high vibrational supplements that'll make you feel great, that absorb in the body very well, Organifi is the way to go. And all my audience gets 15% off if you go to Organifi.com/Aaron. So Organifi.com/Aaron, AARON, and you will get 15% off your order of Organifi. Get also the chocolate gold is amazing. This is something you drink at night. Yeah, you drink it at night, and it helps you sleep really good at night. I remember the first time I took it was with my buddy Victor when we first went to his house in San Diego, and we drank it, and we both slept so good, so deep. and we felt so good the next day. And we're like, ever since then, we use it every day.
It's so nice that we actually really like the products, because imagine being Drew's friend and
I know.
not liking them. How bad would that be?
Well, we really like you,
I was
Drew.
worried, and then I got to try everything.
I remember because I was telling her how amazing the products are, and then she was like, well, we you got some or whatever, and you tried it, and then you were like,
I've been using it for 2 months. I use it every single day.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So for those of you that want it, one last plug: this podcast is sponsored by Organifi, organifi.com/AARON. Go there. So by the way, so you do a lot of sponsorships and stuff. Was that a good like pitch to the sponsorship?
Honestly, you killed it right now.
Yeah.
Well, the most important thing that people don't realize is you have to use the products that you're talking about.
And you have to believe in it.
You have to believe in it.
Yeah.
Because then it
sells
itself.
People can feel it, because like people can feel that I'm
100%.
serious. Like it's the best vegan protein I found. I wholeheartedly believe that.
If you don't believe in the product and you're trying to sell it, you're disingenuous, and that's not adding value, and it's just not going to work. Okay.
Yeah. You're like the sponsorship queen. You do like
Gotta pay the bills.
You've been doing it for a while.
Well, I use the best, like the apps that I use them every day, and they want to sponsor me. Like that is the ultimate manifestation. Audible and stuff
like that.
Yeah. I'm so grateful. Okay, I have to eat now.
Okay, so we are going to now go feed Leeor Alexandra.
I think that we end every podcast like that.
With the what?
With me needing to eat.
Yeah, everyone we do together.
This is a common thing.
But Leeor needs to eat now.
I'm embarrassed.
So, I want to thank you as my ex-girlfriend for coming onto my podcast.
You're so welcome, honey. You are so welcome.
Where can people find my ex-girlfriend, Leeor Alexandra?
Yeah.
And also amazing YouTuber and all that. Everyone knows I'm being sarcastic. We have such a playful, loving friendship that we're able to like just fuck around like this.
I was going to say in the astral realm, but please don't find me there, because I'm not going to.
She might be naked. She might be naked saying, come to me.
You can find me in Sedona. You can find me in Los Angeles.
Do you feel like a calling to come to Sedona more now that you've been here? Like again,
100%. It's such a recharge here.
I feel like with all the craziness going on in the world, this is such
it's a little haven of like, life could be like this too.
Yay.
Look at this. But you can find me at Leeor Alexandra on all platforms. And
what's your main go-to now? YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. I tweet a lot.
Yeah, you do. She loves tweet. She
love
also will do a whole episode about how you have like this man crush on Elon Musk.
Yeah, Aaron and I had like a little tiff about it yesterday.
Not really. We're joking around about it.
Definitely a tiff. He's like, "Would you date Elon Musk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd go on a date with him."
Yeah, no, I was like,
it'd be cool to see what a date with Elon Musk would be like. The thing is,
she claims that she's not attracted to him, and I'm like, it's okay that you
I'm not physically.
You just like his mind.
Yes, his personality is so much like mine.
Yeah, he likes like anime, stuff like that. Yeah,
he's a nerd, cool. And I am too. But he's like an ultimate nerd. But the Neuralink
he's
thing.
The ultimate. Yeah, I know. He's like going down a dark rabbit hole. If you can't beat him,
join him.
That's
his.
I'm almost at 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which means pretty soon I'll be in the Illuminati.
Oh, that's when they extend the invitation.
Yeah, you get invited like as you're getting close to 100 to 1 million. I think that they send
like a little golden envelope.
And
then the next thing
like
that you have to do.
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Exactly. And the next thing that you have to do is send back a blood sacrifice. And that is your RSVP.
Does it have to be like blood sacrifice from me? Or
I think that's from you. It's like you cut open the hand.
Maybe it's on the back of like the play button that they send for like the YouTube gold play button. Because I'm pretty sure Google's also owned by like, the Illuminati. So what they do is they turn it around, and on the back's that gold envelope. And then on it,
there's
it's
like a secret little like invitation on the back.
Yeah, and then it's like to become a part of the deep state.
Are you deep state?
Are you deep state, bro?
I was worried.
I'm
this
entire
time I've been sitting here and I'm like, I feel like Aaron's deep state.
Not yet.
Sure.
I'm almost once I get to 1 million on YouTube, then I'll be deep state. But for now, let's go ahead and close out this episode because we're gonna go eat. We're hungry.
Come say hi to me on YouTube, okay, guys?
Go say hi to Leeor Alexandra on YouTube.
State.
She creates amazing content. She is deep state. She very soon will be a part of the Illuminati.
I'm above state.
She's an above state person.
I'm pure light.
Anyways, we appreciate all you being here. If you guys would like Leeor Alexandra on the podcast again, let me know. Tag her on Instagram or something. All other calls to action, go to Organifi.com/Aaron. Anyways, we'll talk to you later.
Love you. Bye.
Peace. Much love.
Namaste.
Namaste.